Chapter 4790. Pulse of pregnancy. Feng family patriarch was stunned. When he reacted, his face suddenly turned pale. His eyes were full of shock and disbelief. He looked at Yi-Ching Luo, his voice was trembling. Ching Luo, you have already. His line of sight slid down. It landed on Yi-Ching Luo's belly. Yi-Ching Luo, her hand subconsciously touched her belly. Pulse of pregnancy. She was pregnant. No, there should be no such possibility. She was also a doctor, although a doctor didn't treat himself. But it was impossible for her not to know this kind of thing. But her subconscious action had already shown everything. Feng family patriarch clenched his fists. Ching Luo, you are already married. No. She and Dmo Xian hadn't had the time to get married yet. Who is that man? Feng family patriarch was furious when he heard that. His face was slightly distorted. Not married. But pregnant. What kind of bad man had his granddaughter been cheated by? Feng family patriarch was so angry that his face flushed. His rough but warm big palm held Yi-Ching Luo's little hand tightly. Grandfather will definitely seek justice for you. Give birth to this child, grandfather will raise it for you. Yi-Ching Luo was touched and felt funny. Did she look like a person who would be cheated by a scumbag? Grandfather, I'm not pregnant. Yi-Ching Luo explained. You don't have to lie to grandfather knows your pain. Feng family patriarch's old eyes were red. Grandfather will definitely catch that man for you. Grandfather, I'm really not pregnant. Yi-Ching Luo had some headache and explained again. However, Feng family patriarch had an expression of, I know, I understand, don't listen, I don't listen. Yi-Ching Luo. Grandfather, what do you understand? Can't you listen to her explanation for once? She felt even more headache. She suddenly pulled out the hand that was held tightly by Feng family patriarch, stood up and kicked Ji Wuhua unexpectedly. Ji Wuhua staggered. Yi-Ching Luo grabbed his arm from behind. She lifted her foot and kicked him in the back, kicking him to the front of Feng family patriarch. You give me a good explanation. Ji Wuhua was caught off guard by the kick. His upper body staggered and fell on the table. His handsome face immediately darkened. What are you doing? This was the first time in Ji Wuhua's life that he had been put into such a difficult position by a woman. Yi-Ching Luo sneered, what nonsense are you talking about? I'm already giving you face by not killing you. Ji Wuhua covered his aching stomach. It was just a joke. Is there a need to be so violent? Yi-Ching Luo gave a fake smile. Oh, you can't lift it. Who can't lift it? Ji Wuhua was furious. Yi-Ching Luo smiled. Oh, I was just joking. How can you make such a joke? I have 3,000 beauties in my palace. If you make such a joke, what will happen to my beauties? Ji Wuhua was exasperated. You can joke around, why can't I? Yi-Ching Luo sneered, hurry up and explain, I don't have time to joke around with you. The conversation between the two. The people around him understood what he meant. Feng family patriarch's face changed slightly, just. What Flower King said just now was just a joke. Yes. Yi-Ching Luo nodded helplessly, how can I not know my own body? Feng family patriarch grabbed the teacup and threw it at Ji Wuhua's face. How dare you make such a joke? Do you think my Ching Luo doesn't care about her reputation? Waste 7th Missy, Overlord, please be gentle with your love, will continue to be updated in the Sea of Books Pavilion. There are no advertisements on the website, so please collect and recommend the Sea of Books Pavilion. Waste 7th Missy, Overlord, please be gentle with your love. Waste 7th Missy, Overlord, please be gentle with your love. Overlord, please be gentle with your love. Chapter 4791. Ji Wuhua was hit in the face by the tea, and more than half of his handsome face was soaked in the tea. He quickly covered his face. A gentleman uses his mouth instead of his fists. I am after all one of the three kings, Flower King. How can I lose my face when you treat me like this? How can you make this kind of joke? Feng family's patriarch was so angry that his beard was blowing. Fortunately there are no outsiders around. If Qing Luo's reputation is ruined, I will beat you up. Ji Wuhua rubbed his face and felt wronged. What reputation? Your granddaughter has no reputation for a long time. What nonsense are you talking about? Feng family's patriarch grabbed the things on the table and threw them at Ji Wuhua. Ji Wuhua quickly dodged and continued, if you don't believe me, ask your granddaughter if she has a wild man outside. Feng family's patriarch's face froze slightly as he thought of Yi Qing Luo's action of covering her stomach subconsciously. This had obviously exposed something. He looked at Yi Qing Luo cautiously and in a probing manner. He didn't know how to ask. According to Yi Qing Luo's current age, she had reached the marriageable age, so marriage was inevitable. For so many years, he as her grandfather had not accompanied her by her side. He really didn't know how to ask about his granddaughter's feelings. Yi Qing Luo stared at Ji Wuhua, that coquettish fox grandfather. She didn't know where he got the news that she already had someone in her heart. But in front of her grandfather, Yi Qing Luo had no intention to hide. After this matter is over, I will bring him to see you. After a pause, she held Feng family's patriarch's hand and smiled slightly. Grandfather, don't worry. He is very good to me. Feng family's patriarch looked at Yi Qing Luo's smiling face and his old eyes turned slightly red. He patted the back of Yi Qing Luo's hand lightly. It's grandfather who didn't find you early and didn't do his duty as a grandfather to choose a suitable man for you. He sighed softly. Grandfather believes that Qing Luo's foresight is not bad. Yi Qing Luo smiled. Well, my foresight is different from mother. His feelings for me are even deeper than blood-bone barbaric king's feelings for mother. The handsome face of the bloody-bone barbarian king who was suddenly called out blushed. He rubbed his nose in embarrassment. Why are you suddenly talking about me? Yi Qing Luo beamed. I'm praising you for my mother. Your love is stronger than gold. The barbaric blood-bone king pursed his lips and did not speak. He still looked cold and unfeeling. However, his eyes, which had clearly softened, revealed his true emotions. Feng clan master took a glance at the barbaric blood-bone king. Finally, he patted the back of Yi Qing Luo's hand again. If you say so, grandfather can rest assured. Just how deep was Bone Lord's feelings for Feng Gu? As an elder, he saw it all. Thousands of years had passed. Bone Lord still loved his daughter deeply. Patriarch Feng was an experienced person. Naturally, he could tell. When Feng Gu was mentioned, there was a clear change in Bone Lord's gaze. Especially, Bone Lord's feelings towards Qing Luo. He had treated Qing Luo as his own daughter, doting and caring. A thought formed in his mind. But he didn't say it now. Instead, he shifted the topic back to Yi Qing Luo's kidnapping. Qing Luo, do you know who took you away? Feng family's patriarch's expression gradually turned solemn. Seventh Miss who likes trash, Overlord, please collect your love gently. Seventh Miss who likes trash, Overlord, please collect your love gently. The Sea of Books Pavilion updates the fastest. Chapter 4792. Yi Qing Luo pursed her pink lips slightly, her long and narrow eyes rippled with a strange light. I know, she said, but those people should have no chance to speak now. Feng family patriarch was stunned. You killed them and escaped? No. Yi Qing Luo shook her head. Those people I saw were about 40 to 50 years old, and each of them looked like high-ranking officials. Feng family patriarch quickly looked at Feng Pe. Feng Po understood and walked out of the room. After a while, she walked over with a few portraits. When the portraits were opened, Yiqing Luo recognized the people in the paintings. They were the people she saw in the secret room. "Grandfather, have you found out?" Yiqing Luo pointed at the people in the paintings. Among the dozens of paintings, 5 people were selected and placed on the table. Feng family patriarch's gaze swept through the people in the portraits one by one, clenched his fists, gritted his teeth and said angrily, "It's really the 5 aristocrats. You're used to a comfortable life, how dare you touch my Feng family's people?" 5 aristocrats. Yiqing Luo didn't understand the hierarchy in the god realm. Feng family patriarch explained briefly. In the god realm, there were a total of 3 major clans. The royal family was the leader. That was the emperor of god emperor and a series of clans. The aristocrats were the second class. There were 5 aristocrats in the god realm, whose power was second only to the royal family. Especially now, the emperor of god emperor had passed away, and the acting emperor of god emperor couldn't get the inheritance of the emperor of god, so he could only temporarily take up the position. The power of the 5 aristocrats was even greater. The last clan was also the most common force in the god realm, Ping clan. And the 5 people Yiqing Luo saw in the secret room. They were all extraordinary people in the 5 aristocrats. There was a patriarch of a certain aristocrat. There was also a certain aristocrat in power. Or a certain brother of a certain aristocrat, etc. In this way, those 5 people's status in the god realm can only be high and not low. Yiqing Luo's slender fingers stroked her chin. What treasure does the Feng family have, worth the 5 aristocrats to take such a big risk? Feng family patriarch's expression changed slightly, hesitated for a moment, and sighed softly. "These are all rumors." "Rumor?" Yiqing Luo was puzzled. After Xiao Gu passed away, there were rumors that Xiao Gu left a treasure in the Feng family. Feng clan master sighed. "Little Gu is the emperor of the emperors. No one in the divine realm is her opponent. What she has is also the strongest thing in the world. Therefore, there is a rumor that whoever obtains the items of the previous divine emperor will be able to command the world, obtain the divine emperor's inheritance, and become the next divine emperor." Yiqing Luo nodded thoughtfully. "So, the 5 people from the 5 great clans want to get that thing and become the next emperor of God? Everyone wants to become a divine emperor." Feng clan master said helplessly, "But Xiao Gu died so suddenly, how could she leave anything behind? Those people have already been blinded by this rumor and won't even think about it. Even the acting divine emperor, who is related to the former divine emperor by blood, couldn't get the divine emperor's inheritance. How could he get the divine emperor's inheritance just because of one thing?" Yiqing Luo's little hand held Feng clan master's hand tightly. "Never try to wake up a person who is pretending to be asleep. Maybe they know this, but they just don't want to believe it." Feng clan master sighed and shook his head, full of helplessness and exhaustion. Feng family has explained this rumor countless times, but it's useless, so Feng family is too lazy to explain. Waste 7th Miss, Overlord, love gently. The correct chapter will continue to be updated in the Sea of Books Pavilion. There are no advertisements in the website. Please collect and recommend the Sea of Books Pavilion. Waste 7th Miss, Overlord, love gently. The correct chapter will continue to be updated in the Sea of Books Pavilion. There are no advertisements in the website. Please collect and recommend the Sea of Books Pavilion. Chapter 4793. But now, because of this unreasonable rumor, it hurt my granddaughter. Feng family's patriarch's eyes gradually gathered into a whirlpool. Deep and gloomy. In any case, I must ask for an explanation from the 5 aristocrats. Yiqing Luo's hands clenched the old man's slightly rough hand. Her eyebrows were stained with some light softness. In her heart, there was a spread of warmth. It made her temperament seem to be much gentler. The feeling of being protected by family was really good. All along, Fighting alone, she lived in a state of tension every day. Later, she came to this strange world. Met a group of brothers around her, met Xian and fell in love with each other. She was finally no longer alone. But, friendship, love, after all, could not replace family. She could feel her grandfather's love for her from the bottom of his heart. At this time, he was really angry for her. He wanted to stand up for her. Obviously, the two had only met for a few hours. Obviously, it had not been verified that she was Feng Ji's daughter. He had already treated her sincerely. This might be family. The smile between Yiqing Luo's eyebrows became more and more brilliant, one hand around her grandfather's shoulder, the whole person, hugged him. Grandfather, you are so good to me. Feng family's patriarch was startled by the sudden hug, then his eyes were slightly red. He reached out and hugged the girl's delicate body. You are my granddaughter. If I don't treat you well, who else can I treat well to? Yiqing Luo chuckled. There was a shallow smile between her eyebrows. The two of them hugged for a moment. The girl moved away and sat next to Feng family's patriarch. Grandfather, is there anyone or force that the 5 aristocrats are afraid of? Feng family's patriarch frowned. Royal family. Royal family. Yiqing Luo slightly condensed for a moment. Royal family, which forces are included? Feng family's patriarch heard Yiqing Luo's implied meaning. You mean, this time the 5 aristocrats united to kidnap you, is because of someone behind the scenes? Yes. Yiqing Luo muttered to herself for a moment as her eyes congealed slightly. When I was imprisoned in the secret chamber, I saw a black-robed man. Those 5 aristocratic families were extremely respectful towards that person. She paused for a moment before continuing. It's very likely that the people from the 5 great aristocratic families have already died at the hands of the black-robed man. This was what she had said from the very beginning. Those people probably wouldn't have the chance to speak anymore. That black-robed man probably wouldn't let those 5 people off. After all, he was a traitor. When Patriarch Feng heard this, his eyes suddenly condensed. Feng Changqing and Ji Wuhua both stood up involuntarily. The faces of the few of them were filled with horror. To be able to make the 5 great nobility clans act so respectfully towards him and not worry about him killing an important member of the 5 great nobility clans, other than the imperial family, there was no one else. However, the royal family had never done such a thing. The Feng family is a royal family force. After all, the Feng family produced a divine emperor, Feng Gu. The current acting emperor was also a member of the Feng family. Then the other royal family forces were the families that had some blood relationship with the Feng family. Those forces had to rely on the Feng family to survive. How could they possibly do such an act of colluding with the 5 great nobility clans to kidnap people from the Feng family? Moreover, the target was the Feng family's treasures. Who in the royal family didn't know that the Feng family didn't have the so-called treasures? So, it might not necessarily be the royal family's force. Yiqing Luo pondered for a moment and said, does the God realm also have dark forces? 7th Miss who likes trash, Overlord, please collect my love. 7th Miss who likes trash, Overlord, please collect my love. 7th Miss who likes trash, Overlord, please collect my love. Chapter 4794. There was no absolute light in the world. Where there is light, there must be darkness. Even the God realm was not spared. In Yiqing Luo's mind, the image of the person behind the scenes of the secluded palace surfaced. Her eyes darkened slightly. For example, does your God realm have a force called the Palace of Gloomy Darkness? Feng family patriarch frowned. No. When has such a force appeared in the divine realm? Yiqing Luo recalled every single time she had clashed with the Palace of Seclusion. The Palace of Gloomy Darkness had completely treated her as a vessel for the divine phoenix profound heart jade. In addition, they controlled her and made her their puppet. It was as if he wanted to get some clues from her. The Abyss Palace had long known her identity. It was very likely that the goal of Dark Shadow Palace was to find the so-called treasure of the Feng family from her. She had seen the people behind the Palace of Gloomy Darkness and had fought them before. However, when he faced the person behind the scenes of the Palace of Darkness and the black-robed man outside the secret room, he felt like he was about to die. The feeling was completely different. The black-robed man was not the mastermind behind the Dark Palace. However, it was highly possible that it had a close relationship with the Palace of Gloomy Darkness. Yiqing Luo pursed her pink lips slightly as she narrated the matter of her crossing hands with the Palace of Seclusion in a concise and comprehensive manner. What she said was very simple. But that was the point. After all, the God realm was far superior to the other two realms. For the heaven domain, the land domain, or even the so-called low-class nirvana domain, what happened? Naturally, the immortal realm would not know. Unless it was too big of a commotion. It affected the balance of the three realms. Only then would they pay attention to it. However, he would never take it to heart. Even if the so-called prophecy back then was that the nirvana realm was almost destroyed. Or perhaps it was the war between the heaven and earth realms, which caused the people to have no way of making a living, and it felt like the end of the world. Not even the God realm had interfered. It was clear that the immortal realm did not care about the matters of the lower realms. If it wasn't for the fact that the acting God Emperor wanted to meet Yiqing Luo this time round and specially instructed the God Guardian Squad to invite her over, it was likely that the God realm wouldn't show its face even once. Not to mention the God realm. The so-called heavenly Tao that maintained the balance of the three realms never showed itself. Yiqing Luo didn't know how to ridicule these people. It was said that with great power came great responsibility. They held high positions and were the gods in the hearts of all profound practitioners. He didn't care much about the matters of the lower worlds. Of course, the upper realm became gods. It was because of their talent and ability. Indeed, he had no obligation to care about the life and death of the lower realms. It was his duty not to help. It was a favor to help. Everything depended on the will of the immortal realm. Only, Yiqing Luo was someone from the lower realm. He couldn't help but feel a little indignant. After listening to Yiqing Luo's words, Feng family patriarch's expression froze slightly. His brows were tightly knitted, and he was not angry. What kind of inferior force dares to touch my Feng family's people? From Yiqing Luo's description. The other party clearly knew her identity long ago. In other words, he was deliberately targeting his Feng family. Grandfather will definitely get to the bottom of this matter. Feng family master's eyes flashed coldly. The Feng family has not been involved in worldly affairs for many years, but it doesn't mean that the Feng family has declined. He waved his hand and glanced at Granny Feng. Call the acting God Emperor back. Granny Feng was stunned. Lord Patriarch, the acting God Emperor is focused on the affairs of the God realm. I'm afraid he won't. It's okay, you can rest assured and call him back. Ji Wuhua waved his hand. Seventh Miss Who Likes Trash, Overlord, please keep your love for me. Seventh Miss Who Likes Trash, Overlord, please keep your love for me. The Sea of Books Pavilion updates the fastest. Chapter 4795. Just tell him that the person he wants to see is in the Feng family, and he will come back. Granny Feng glanced at Patriarch Feng. He nodded his head. Then she left. Yiqing Luo opened her eyes wide in confusion. Acting God Emperor. Oh, by the way, I haven't told you. The acting Divine Emperor you want to see is your little uncle, Ji Wuhua said from the side. Little uncle. She suddenly had a little uncle who was the acting Emperor God. His status had risen by a notch again. But, thinking about it carefully, it made sense. Feng Ge was her mother, the emperor of the former God Emperor. The acting God Emperor was also chosen from the Feng family. Naturally, He had a close relationship with the Feng family. Your uncle is always busy dealing with the affairs in the divine realm. He hasn't come back for hundreds of years. I am used to it. Master Feng sighed and suddenly thought of something. By the way, what did the Flower King say? The person he wanted to see. What did he mean? Yi Qing Luo rushed to explain in front of Ji Wuhua. I came to God Realm because the acting God Emperor wanted to see me, so he specially sent the God Guardian Squad to the lower realm to fetch me. Otherwise, based on my strength, there's no way I can appear in God Realm. If Ji Wuhua were to explain, he was afraid that his mouth would spit out some nonsense that would cause people to misunderstand. He wants to see you. Patriarch Feng frowned. Why does he want to see you? Is it because he knows your identity, so he asked you to come to the divine realm to verify your identity? Well, I am not sure. Yi Qing Luo shook her head. She hadn't seen the acting God Emperor yet. She didn't know why the acting God Emperor wanted to see her. Patriarch Feng looked at Ji Wuhua. She came from the 100-Flower Garden. Did the acting God Emperor order you to put her in the 100-Flower Garden? The acting God Emperor didn't say anything. He just asked the Divine Guard team to let me arrange a place for her. Ji Wuhua touched his palms with the back of his hands, looking as if he was racking his brains to think for her sake. She is a person from the lower realm. If those old fools find out that she has come to the immortal realm, won't they tear her apart? No matter how I look at it, the 100-Flower Garden is the safest. Who would suspect her origins if she was placed in the 100-Flower Gardens? Feng Clan Master. This reason is really irrefutable. The acting Divine Emperor has some matters to deal with recently. Patriarch, don't worry. Feng Zhangqing comforted her gently. The acting Divine Emperor will come to meet Miss Yi after he finishes his business. Business, business, business. Might as well just let him live with his work. What does he need us relatives for? Feng Clan Master spat fiercely. He is your master. You go and tell him that if he doesn't return to the Feng mansion within today, he will be punished. He doesn't need to come back anymore. Feng Zhangqing still wanted to say something. Feng Clan Master glared at him angrily. He slapped the table and stood up. Let's go to the 5 great aristocrats. I want to question them. They kidnapped my Feng family's granddaughter. Are they trying to rebel? Grandfather, Yi Qing Luo hurriedly held onto his arm as she spoke in a gentle voice. They don't know my identity, and if we were to go over rashly, it would only raise their vigilance. Moreover, how are you going to explain my identity to them? The Feng family was, after all, the legitimate bloodline of the royal family. It was also the family of the destined Divine Emperor. No matter what it was, it would receive great attention. 7th Miss Who Likes Trash, Overlord, please collect your love. 7th Miss Who Likes Trash, Overlord, please collect your love. The Book C Pavilion is the fastest to update. Chapter 4796. A Feng family's granddaughter suddenly popped out. The daughter of the former Divine Emperor. Who would believe that? There would be people who would doubt the purpose of the Feng family. Therefore, they wanted her to restore the identity of the Feng family's granddaughter, the biological daughter of the former Divine Emperor. There must be an appropriate time. Obviously, it would not be now. Yi Qing Luo could think of it. Feng family patriarch could naturally think of it. His old face sank, clenching his fists unwillingly. Are we going to let it go like this? He, the dignified Feng family's patriarch, couldn't even bully his own granddaughter back. Did he still have the face to be her grandfather? We can first inquire about the news about those 5 people to determine if they are really dead. Yi Qing Luo smiled and held Feng family patriarch's arm, helping him to sit down again. If those 5 people are really dead, there is no need for us to go again. Feng family patriarch nodded repeatedly. Yes, yes, you are thoughtful. He snapped his fingers. Soon, two secret guards appeared. Feng family patriarch arranged things. All right, grandfather, since I was kidnapped last night, you haven't had a rest, I will accompany you to rest for half an hour. Yiqing Luo didn't give Feng family patriarch a chance to refuse, her long eyes curved and her smile was bright. I will accompany you to rest, I am a little tired too. Feng family patriarch originally wanted to chat with her for a while. Hearing the latter half of her sentence, he immediately dispelled the idea. He quickly got up. Yes, you were kidnapped last night, you must have not had a good rest until now, grandfather will go to rest with you. One old and one young, holding each other, walked towards the direction of the bedroom. Bloodbone Barbarian King's face was cold, staring at Yiqing Luo and Feng family patriarch's back without blinking. His eyes were deep like a whirlpool, surging wave after wave of waves. A hand was put on his shoulder. Bloodbone Barbarian King's face turned cold, and he suddenly buckled the wrist behind him. Immediately, he buckled the wrist behind him. Ayaya, Bone Lord, don't be so rough. A frivolous voice, with a bit of artificial pain. Ji Wuhua nimbly withdrew his hand and dodged the barbaric Bloodbone King's attack. Did you think of the former divine emperor when you saw Miss Ye's back? Ji Wuhua looked as if he had seen through the truth. He reached out his hand to hook the barbaric Blood King's shoulder. The barbaric Bloodbone King glanced at him coldly. Ji Wuhua withdrew his hand resentfully. Don't be so fierce. I just want to know some gossip. He paused and carefully observed the barbaric Bloodbone King's expression. Seeing that the cold face was emotionless, he plucked up his courage and asked, rumor has it that Bone Lord died in the hands of the former divine emperor. Why is he with Missy now? As he guessed, he couldn't help but fill in the blanks in his mind. Could it be that your death back then, your soul dispersing and your ashes were all fake? In fact, the former divine emperor wanted you to be Miss Ye's father, right? The barbaric Bloodbone King coldly glanced at him. Following that, he walked towards the direction which Yiqing Luo had left with an expressionless face. Ji Wuhua didn't get an answer and hurriedly chased after him. Bone Lord, what do you mean by that look? You haven't answered my question, don't go. Wuhua. Feng Zhangqing held on to Ji Wuhua with a slight headache. Stop fooling around, Bone Lord is in a bad mood. Now on account that this is the Feng family, I won't haggle with you. If you annoy Bone Lord, even if you and I join hands, we won't be his opponent. Seventh Miss who likes trash, Overlord, please keep your love away. Seventh Miss who likes trash, Overlord, please keep your love away. The Sea of Books Pavilion is the fastest to update. Chapter 4797. So powerful. Ji Wuhua's eyes lit up, that makes me want to fight with him even more. Feng Zhangqing. Fine, if you are beaten to death, I will not stop you. Ji Wuhua, no. You have to stop me symbolically, to give me a way out. Feng Zhangqing had long been accustomed to his friend's reckless behavior. He waved Ji Wuhua away. I will go to the acting god emperor first and bring the patriarch's words. If you want to stay in the Feng family, be careful and don't talk nonsense. He looked around and lowered his voice. Bone Lord is not to be offended. That Miss Yi, you should also be careful, jokes are jokes, but there is a limit. Alright, I know, don't be like an old mother. Ji Wuhua waved his hand impatiently. Yiqing Luo and Patriarch Feng went to Patriarch Feng's room together. Yiqing Luo sat on the soft chair beside the bed, leaning against the headboard and closed her eyes slightly. One hand was still holding her grandfather's hand. Patriarch Feng originally didn't want Yiqing Luo to work so hard and sleep sitting like this. But he was worried about leaving Yiqing Luo alone in the room. After what happened last night, Yi Qing Luo tried every means to persuade Patriarch Feng before he agreed. Even if Patriarch Feng was strong, but his age was after all old. After a tiring night until now, he was indeed tired. But perhaps it was because Yi Qing Luo was by his side. The hands that held each other conveyed the warmth of both sides. About the time it took for a stick of incense to burn. Then Patriarch Feng fell into a deep sleep. Yi Qing Luo waited for a while. After confirming that Patriarch Feng had fallen asleep. Then she carefully pulled out her hand. She walked out of Patriarch Feng's room looking back 3 times. Just as she reached the door, she saw Bloodbone Barbarian King standing outside. She greeted him with a smile. "Aren't you going to rest?" "No need." His face was cold. "Are you sure to stay in the Feng family?" Yi Qing Luo glanced at the closed door. She smiled and shook her head. Shortly after, he strode forward. Bloodbone Barbarian King followed closely. "Grandpa has been alone for so long. He finally met me. I may not leave the Feng family in a short time." She smiled. "However, I shouldn't stay here for a long time. This is his mother's home. She wanted to stay here and accompany her grandfather. He also wanted to see this place where his mother grew up. But she also has her mission to complete. Her brothers and sisters in the lower realm were still waiting for her to return. It was impossible to stay here and live a comfortable life protected by the Feng family. You should be very familiar with this place, right?" Yi Qing Luo suddenly turned her head and looked at Bloodbone Barbaric King, Mother's childhood sweetheart. He must be very familiar with the place where Mother grew up. A glimmer of light flashed across the barbaric Bloodbone King's calm eyes. An awkward expression flashed across his face. Yi Qing Luo caught it and the smile in her eyes deepened. "I don't know anything about the Feng Manor at all. Can you bring me around to take a look around, the places where Mother had stayed in the past, and the things that Mother had done?" The barbaric Bloodbone King wanted to refuse. But when he met the young girl's smiling eyes, he felt a chill run down his spine. Like thousands of flowers blooming. The words of refusal were at the tip of his tongue, but he couldn't say it out. He sighed softly and finally spat out a word, "All right." Bloodbone Barbarian King's understanding of Feng Gu was already deep in his bones. Even if thousands of years had passed, he still remembered everything about Feng Gu clearly. Not a single bit, not missing out. As if it was just something that happened yesterday. "Seventh Miss Who Likes Trash, Overlord, please collect your love. Seventh Miss Who Likes Trash, Overlord, please collect your love." The Sea of Books Pavilion updates the fastest. Chapter 4798. One action. One sentence. She remembered it clearly. Bloodbone Savage King was no longer in his bashful state. In the end, he fell into the past. Yi Qing Luo listened very seriously. He seemed to be able to imagine the scene at that time from the words of the barbaric Bloodbone King. It was like, she was one step closer to her mother. Just like that, 4 hours had passed. The sky gradually darkened. Yi Qing Luo asked Bloodbone Savage King to bring her to the kitchen. Granny Feng had not returned yet. Other than the secret guards in the Feng Manor. There wasn't even a servant who could handle things. Yi Qing Luo also wanted to take this opportunity to cook a meal for her grandfather. Bloodbone Savage King had no intention to stop her. When Patriarch Feng woke up, he followed the secret guards and found his way to the kitchen. He saw the barbaric Bloodbone King leaned against the door of the kitchen with his arms crossed in front of his chest. His deep eyes stared unblinkingly at the young girl who was busy in the kitchen. That serious and deep look. Patriarch Feng felt that he was looking at another person through the young lady. He sighed faintly. That daughter of his was too stubborn. If she had chosen Bone Lord at that time, Presumably, their family could still live happily. Unfortunately, there was no if. This sigh attracted the attention of the man outside the door. When Bloodbone Savage King looked over, Patriarch Fong immediately made a hush gesture and shook his head at him. Bloodbone Savage King didn't say anything. He slowly moved away a little. Hence, the kitchen became, Bloodbone Savage King stood on one side and Patriarch Fong stood on the other, looking at the young lady who was busy in the kitchen. Both of their gazes were kind and gentle. This house finally had the taste of home. Another half an hour had passed. Fong Shi followed the fragrance and came over. Yi Qing Luo then noticed that there were two door gods squatting outside the door. Her eyes were filled with joy. She took off her robe and washed her hands. You came just in time. Help me send the dishes to the hall and get ready for dinner. Saying that, she bent over to carry Fong Shi in her arms and walked out of the kitchen. The two men naturally had no objections. Yi Qing Luo carried Fong Shi in her arms and sat down in the main hall to wait. She didn't cook a lot of food, but it wasn't little either. When the family was seated around the table, a hearty voice came from outside the door. What's this smell? It's so fragrant. Looks like I came back at the right time. Then, a few figures walked in. The person in the lead was dressed in a bright yellow brocade robe and had an imposing appearance. When he strode over, he brought with him an invisible pressure. His footsteps were like the wind. One look and you could tell that he had the aura of a superior. Yi Qing Luo's vision fell onto that person's face. He had good facial features and was extraordinarily handsome. That face, he looked really familiar. He could see that she bore some resemblance to his mother. This person, he should be her mother's younger brother, her little uncle, the current acting divine emperor, Feng Liqiong. When Feng Liqiong's vision met Yi Qing Luo's, his pupils shrank and the smile on his face froze. Sis. Sis. Following that, he seemed to have reacted as he patted the back of his hand hard. No, this is my niece, Qing Luo. He walked over quickly as his eyes gazed deeply at the young lady with unconcealable joy. Feng Liqiong had just reached in front of Yi Qing Luo and was about to reach out to hug her. But she was stopped by Patriarch Feng's outstretched hand. Don't scare the child. Seventh Miss Who Likes Trash, Overlord, please collect your love gently. Seventh Miss Who Likes Trash, Overlord, please collect your love gently. The Sea of Books Pavilion updates the fastest. Chapter 4799. Immediately, Feng family's patriarch looked towards Yi Qing Luo. This is your little uncle who doesn't stay at home. Although he is the acting god emperor, he has a bad temper. It doesn't matter if he is here or not. If you don't want to call him uncle, then don't. This was the official ridicule from her grandfather. Feng Liqiong immediately objected, Father, that's not nice of you. She is my niece, so she has to call me little uncle. He smiled widely and opened his arms towards Yi Qing Luo. I've been waiting for you, my niece, for too long. Be a good girl, call me little uncle. Feng family's patriarch slapped his arm away. You know you're back to see your niece, but you don't even know to prepare a gift. Is there any uncle like you? You still have the cheek to let the child call you. Of course I have prepared. Feng Liqiong's fingers shook. A piece of jade appeared in his palm. The translucent white jade shone with a profound light that flickered like lightning. Sound transmission stone. Ji Wuhua cried out exaggeratedly, the acting god emperor really dotes on this niece of yours. He actually gave his sound transmission stone to her. Yi Qing Luo stared at that piece of jade, her eyes narrowed slightly, not knowing what she was thinking. Feng family's patriarch immediately touched her. Take it, it's rare to get something from him. Yi Qing Luo reached out and took the jade. The jade was cool like water in her hand. It felt good, smooth and delicate. Yiqing Luo's pink lips rose as she smiled at Feng Liqiong. "Thank you, little uncle." The door opened wide. The moonlight shone like water. Shone on the young lady's gorgeous face. The young lady's brows were curved, her long and narrow eyes were also curved. It was obvious that she was very happy. That face was imprinted in Feng Liqiong's eyes. Made him momentarily, he recalled the calm and indifferent face in his memory. Really, very similar. "Why are you in a daze? Didn't you hear Qing Luo calling you?" Feng family's patriarch slapped Feng Liqiong's shoulder. Feng Liqiong suddenly regained her senses and quickly smiled. "I'm just too happy. I've waited for so long to hear you call me little uncle, and now I finally hear it." Feng clan master glanced at him. "Find a place to sit." As he sat down, he was still nagging discontentedly. "Qing Luo had specially prepared a meal for me alone, but you've come at the right time, to be able to eat the meal personally cooked by Qing Luo." Feng Liqiong's eyes lit up. "My niece made it herself. I must have a good taste." He laughed heartily as he sat down. Feng Zhangqing and Ji Wuhua, who followed behind him, also took their seats. Yiqing Luo slowly sat down as her gaze fell onto the voice transmission stone in her palm. She gently touched the sound transmission stone with her slender and fair fingertips. That lightning-like profound light dispersed like water ripples. It was very magical. "This voice transmission stone is your little uncle's voice transmission stone, which means, no matter where you are in the God realm, as long as you shout, 'Little uncle,' into the voice transmission stone, he will be able to know your location and you can contact him anytime." Feng family's patriarch saw her loving look and explained, "In future, if you have any problems, look for your little uncle. After all, he's an acting God Emperor. If you meet with any danger in the God realm, ask your little uncle to rush over to protect you." "Father, I'm an acting God Emperor. There are so many things waiting for me to settle, how can you let me be at your beck and call?" Feng Liqiong immediately shouted out. But his tone suddenly changed as a pair of narrow phoenix eyes looked at Yiqing Luo with a smile. "Trashy seventh young mistress, Lord Dizun, please collect your love." "Trashy seventh young mistress, Lord Dizun, please collect your love." Chapter 4800. "But, on account of my cute and charming little niece, I will reluctantly agree." Feng family patriarch raised his hand and slowly put it down. From their interaction, Yiqing Luo could tell. Their relationship was actually very good. Even if they rarely met. Even if Feng Liqiong was busy with work. But the interaction between the two of them. It was very intimate. It was totally different from before when Feng family patriarch talked about the acting God Emperor, his tone was impatient. Yiqing Luo's long and narrow eyes were rippling with a faint light. Her vision was fixed on Feng family patriarch for a moment. Immediately, her pink lips curled up with a bright smile. "Thank you, uncle, I will take good care of your gift and carry it with me." Feng Liqiong smiled lightly, "As long as Qing Luo likes it. Come and try the dishes that Qing Luo personally made." Feng family patriarch looked at the table full of dishes and felt a little hungry. He picked up the bamboo chopsticks and picked some food. The moment it entered his mouth, his face revealed a surprised look. "Qing Luo, your culinary skills are amazing." The dishes that Yiqing Luo made were all common home dishes in the lower realm. Ordinary ingredients. But the food that she made was completely extraordinary. In addition, the ingredients in the God realm were nourished by the heaven and earth's spiritual qi. The food that she made was even more fragrant and delicious. Feng family patriarch's voice just fell. The others immediately raised their bamboo chopsticks and began to sweep. This meal was very enjoyable. The entire hall was filled with laughter and cheers, it was very pleasant. Yi Qing Luo looked at the scene in front of her, the tenderness between her brows deepened. It wasn't that she hadn't eaten such a joyous meal before. But, for the first time, she sat at the same table with her own relatives, eating together harmoniously. Yi Qing Luo lowered her eyes slightly, concentrating on the cold jade in her palm. Her vision slowly fell onto Feng Liqiong. Her slender fingers curled up one by one, holding the jade in her palm. The smile at the corner of his mouth deepened a little. Qing Luo keeps staring at me, don't you think that your uncle is very handsome? Feng Liqiong noticed Yi Qing Luo's gaze and looked at her. Yi Qing Luo nodded, yes, little uncle and mother are quite similar. Feng Liqiong laughed heartily. In terms of resemblance, you're the real one. You're practically carved from the same mold as my sister. Yi Qing Luo curved her charming eyes, then the relationship between little uncle and mother must be very good? Of course. Feng Liqiong put down her chopsticks. I've been by Big Sister's side since I was young. Big Sister taught me how to cultivate, taught me how to be a person, taught me everything. He laughed and laughed. He seemed to have sunk into his memories. Chapter 4801. After the meal. Granny Feng removed the things on the table. Yi Qing Luo wanted to help. Little Miss can help take care of young master, I'll take care of these. Granny Feng handed Feng Shi over to Yi Qing Luo. Qing Luo, come here. Feng family patriarch waved to her. Yi Qing Luo had no choice but to carry Feng Shi to sit beside Feng family patriarch. Your uncle is here now, just tell him whatever grievances you have suffered, he will definitely seek justice for you. Feng family patriarch glanced at Feng Liqiong who was sitting by the side. He hinted Yi Qing Luo to tell Feng Liqiong about the kidnapping last night. Yi Qing Luo knew. Actually, this was her grandfather's intention to let her and Feng Liqiong interact more, so that they could nurture their relationship. But before Yi Qing Luo could speak, Feng Liqiong was the first to speak as he looked at Feng family patriarch. Father, it's not peaceful outside recently. Qing Luo has just returned to the Feng family. Take Qing Luo and stay in the Feng family, don't go out for now. His expression was somewhat solemn. Let's not talk about Qing Luo's identity, we haven't found a suitable opportunity to reveal it to the public. The most important thing is, there might be some dark forces eyeing the God realm. Feng family patriarch's expression changed slightly. What happened? The important members of the 5 aristocratic families were attacked at the same time. Feng Liqiong placed one hand on the table with a solemn expression. Not only that, the 5 corpses are hung at the entrance of the 5 aristocratic families' mansions. Feng family patriarch frowned. He turned his head and looked at Yi Qing Luo. Their gazes met for a moment. They had already guessed it, those 5 people were probably the ones who kidnapped Yi Qing Luo last night. Indeed, they were dead. Yi Qing Luo lowered her eyelids slightly, concealing the deep meaning in her eyes. I've been busy with this matter today, to be able to kill the important members of the 5 aristocratic families at the same time, and to hang the corpses so arrogantly. This is obviously provoking the 5 aristocratic families, provoking me, the acting god emperor. Feng Liqiong's hand on the table tightened. I'm afraid the other party's power has already infiltrated the god realm, I haven't found any useful clues yet. So, you have to be careful. Especially Qing Luo, you've just arrived in the god realm, so don't simply sneak out. The people outside are not like you in the lower realm, understand? Yi Qing Luo's eyelashes fluttered slightly as she met Feng Liqiong's eyes with a smile. Amen, I won't. She paused for a moment before continuing. You said, I can provide you with some information about the other party's forces. What? Feng Liqiong asked immediately. Yi Qing Luo maintained her smile. The 5 people who killed the 5 aristocratic families were not done by a single force, but one person. Alone? Feng Liqiong frowned. How could one person kill 5 important members of the 5 great clans? It's true, I saw it with my own eyes. Yi Qing Luo replied seriously. With your own eyes? Feng Liqiong's eyes darkened. Then did you see who that person was? Yi Qing Luo sighed softly and shook her head. That person was wearing a black robe and I couldn't even see his eyes. Then, do you have a way to identify that person? Feng Liqiong asked. That person was wearing a loose black robe, I couldn't see the other party's body shape. His voice was also modified by profound energy. Even if that person was standing in front of me, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to recognize him. Yi Qing Luo pursed her pink lips and said apologetically, I'm sorry, uncle, I can't help you. Think carefully again. Feng Liqiong hadn't finished his words. Feng family's matriarch gave him a slap on the head. 7th young miss who likes trash, Lord Overlord, please be gentle with your love. 7th young miss who likes trash, Lord Overlord, please be gentle with your love. The Sea of Books Pavilion updates the fastest. Chapter 4802. Didn't you hear Qing Luo say she couldn't recognize him? Still keep asking. Feng Liqiong stared at him in annoyance. As her uncle, don't you know how to care about her? Feng Liqiong touched the back of his head and gave up asking, looking at Yi Qing Luo embarrassedly. Qing Luo, I'm sorry, I'm too anxious. Yi Qing Luo smiled innocently, it's all right. But little uncle, why aren't you curious about how I know that person? Uncle is muddled from work, thinking of solving the problem of the 5 aristocrats, too anxious. Feng Liqiong softened his tone, it's my fault, I didn't care about you. He lowered his head apologetically and asked with concern, Qing Luo, how did you meet that person? Because I was with the 5 dead people from the 5 aristocrats last night. Yi Qing Luo's fingertips touched her chin. I saw that black-robed man kill those 5 people with my own eyes. With your own eyes? Feng Liqiong immediately grabbed Yi Qing Luo's hand and sized her up. Are you all right? You saw it with your own eyes. Why didn't that black-robed man hurt you? Perhaps it's because I have something on me that the other party wants. Yi Qing Luo allowed Feng Liqiong to hold her wrist. They seemed to want to find out from me the whereabouts of the Feng family's treasure. Yi Qing Luo pursed her lips slightly. How would I know anything about the Feng family's treasure? She paused and didn't give the others a chance to speak. She continued, oh right, little uncle, did you already know my identity? That's why you sent the Divine Guardian Squad to the lower realm to find me. This topic had changed a little too quickly. Feng Liqiong was stunned for a moment and immediately nodded. Not really, but I have some suspicions. So I wanted to get someone to bring you up to see. He looked at Feng Liqiong. Father has been looking for you for a long time, but I had never expected you to be in the lower realm. Yi Qing Luo blinked her eyes. Her eyes were covered with a layer of mist. Won't uncle suspect my identity? You and grandfather don't seem to need me to verify my identity and you already believe me. That look seemed to be very touched. Feng Liqiong held Yi Qing Luo's hand with heartache. How can grandfather recognize the wrong person? You are Feng Ji's daughter, my granddaughter. That's right. Your face says it all. Feng Liqiong's eyes were warm and gentle, and a kind smile hung on her face. You, don't let your imagination run wild. If you're really worried, you can wait for a while and find an opportunity to reveal your identity to the God realm, and then verify it in front of everyone. Yi Qing Luo's eyelashes fluttered, seemingly a little nervous. But I'm not from the God realm. They won't accept me. You are the granddaughter of my Feng family, who dares to not accept you? Let the acting God Emperor chop off their heads. Feng family's matriarch interrupted Yi Qing Luo's words. Feng Liqiong said helplessly, Father, I'm not a tyrant. How can I behead someone just because you say so? Just find a random reason. What rebellion? What forbidden techniques? Find any reason. Feng clan master was unreasonable. Feng Liqiang knew her father's character very well, and she nodded repeatedly, yes, 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 whoever dares to deny our little princess will be beheaded. Yiqing Luo held the old man's arm and leaned her head on his shoulder. Grandfather treats me the best. The old man chuckled as he stroked her soft black hair that was not tied up. His eyes were filled with a kind and gentle smile. Seventh young miss who likes trash, Overlord, please collect your love. Seventh young miss who likes trash, Overlord, please collect your love. The Sea of Books Pavilion updates the fastest. Chapter 4803. Yiqing Luo's eyes curved as she casually looked towards Feng Liqiang and asked, Little uncle, is it only the few of you who know about the news that you sent someone to fetch me back? Feng Liqiang, Ji Wuhua and Feng Changqing. Feng Liqiang nodded, yes, what's wrong? Yiqing Luo bit her pink lips in doubt, since no one knows my identity. Why are the 5 people from the 5 aristocrats so sure that I know the Feng family's treasure? Yiqing Luo asked. The entire hall fell into silence. After a while, Feng Liqiang frowned, you mean? Someone knows your identity? I don't know. Yiqing Luo shook her head, uncle, this matter. You must investigate clearly. This is not only related to my personal safety, but also the entire Feng family. She rubbed her head against Feng family's matriarch. I don't want to bring disaster to the Feng family not long after I returned. Feng family's matriarch was distressed. How can you be a disaster to the Feng family, your grandfather's treasure? Yiqing Luo nodded with a smile. So, uncle must find out the other party's purpose as soon as possible. If you need my help, I will not hesitate. Don't worry. Feng Liqiang clenched her fists. Whoever dares to touch the Feng family, Feng Liqiang will be the first to disagree. Leave this matter to me. The people from the 5 aristocrats dare to kidnap Qing Luo and the Feng family. It means that this Feng family must have hidden a lot of informers from the 5 aristocrats. Feng family's matriarch looked at Feng Liqiang. As an uncle, you should know how to help your niece vent her anger, right? Feng Liqiang's eyes narrowed dangerously. The 5 aristocrats dare to touch my head. I naturally will not let them off easily. Feng Liqiang got the news and left in a hurry. Feng Changqing and Ji Wuhua also followed and left. Yiqing Luo accompanied Feng family's matriarch for a walk. Until the sky turned completely dark. Then she helped Feng family's matriarch back to the room to rest. Feng family's matriarch was worried that last night's incident would happen again. Yiqing Luo pushed Bloodbone Barbarian King in front of her. Uncle Bone is here, he will protect me. Feng family's matriarch stared at Bloodbone Barbarian King for a while and finally sighed. There was a tinge of regret in his tone. No one knew what he was feeling regretful about. After Master Feng fell asleep, Yiqing Luo then headed towards her own room. The barbaric Bloodbone King followed closely behind. His eyes were dark as he stared at the girl's back. Just now, were you hinting at something? Yiqing Luo felt a little strange on the dining table, as well as the casual conversation afterwards. However, he could not tell what was so strange about it. Somehow he felt that the smile on Yiqing Luo's face looked pure, but it wasn't pure. It was unlike the heartfelt smile on his face when he faced the Feng family's patriarch. Yiqing Luo tilted her head. Under the night sky, the young girl's beautiful face seemed to be plated with a layer of silver radiance. Uncle Bone really understands me. Yiqing Luo didn't deny it as she curved her charming eyes. Uncle Bone, do you have a way to set up a barrier with only the 2 of us? The barbaric Bloodbone King's eyes flickered. Without anyone noticing, he scanned his surroundings with the corner of his eyes. Then, he nodded. The next day, Yiqing Luo woke up early in the morning and headed to the kitchen to help Grandma Feng prepare breakfast. The atmosphere was harmonious. While Yiqing Luo was busy with the things in her hands, she asked, "Grandma Feng, how long have you been in the Feng family?" "I have been in the Feng family since young." Grandma Feng smiled. "Once upon a time, your mother was also taken care of by me." Seventh young miss who likes trash. Overlord, please collect your love. Seventh young miss who likes trash. Overlord, please collect your love. The Sea of Books Pavilion updates the fastest. Chapter 4804. Yiqing Luo's eyes lit up and hurried to Granny Feng's side. "Granny Feng took care of grandfather and mother, and now she takes care of me and Cece." Her smile deepened. "In our eyes, Granny Feng is our family." Granny Feng's eyes were filled with a layer of moisture. She was very happy in her heart, but remembered her identity as a servant. "You can't do that, young miss, please don't say that. If the Lord hears it, I will be punished. If grandfather hears it, he will agree with what I said." Yiqing Luo put her arms around Granny Feng's waist. Granny Feng was overjoyed and her face was full of smiles. Yiqing Luo took the opportunity to say, "Granny Feng, I want to know more about the Feng family, about grandfather, uncle, and mother. I want to integrate into the Feng family faster, can you tell me?" "Of course, no problem." Granny Feng smiled. "Granny will tell you what you want to know." Yiqing Luo tilted her head. "I want to know about grandfather, mother, and uncle. The Feng family has always been an enviable big family." Granny Feng's movement slowed down as she fell into memories. Among the big families that fight openly and secretly, the Feng family is like an exception. The Feng family has always been monogamous. There are no concubines fighting for the family property. After the former emperor and the acting emperor were born, they grew up in the love of the lord and madam. The relationship between the former emperor and the acting emperor has always been very good, supporting and accompanying each other, until they grew up. Yiqing Luo's eyes lit up. "Is the relationship between uncle and mother so good?" "Because madam passed away early, and the lord is a man after all, not so meticulous. The former emperor has always been taking care of the acting emperor like an elder sister and mother. Naturally, the relationship between the siblings is so deep that no one can destroy it." Yiqing Luo continued with a smile. "I will also take good care of Cece like mother and uncle." Granny Feng was amused. Yiqing Luo asked again, "Then, what happened later? Why did uncle say that if it wasn't something, grandfather didn't allow him to say it?" Granny Feng's smile froze on her face. She hurriedly shook her head. "Little miss, it's not that this old servant doesn't want to tell you, but this matter has happened too long ago. Master also doesn't want you to be sad about the past." She paused and reminded, "Little miss, in front of the patriarch, it's better not to mention anything about that matter." Yiqing Luo nodded obediently and changed the topic. "Then I'll ask. The relationship between grandfather and uncle." While helping Granny Feng, she said, "At first, when I heard Grandpa so fiercely asking little uncle to return to the Feng family, I thought that Grandpa and little uncle had a bad relationship. But when little uncle came back, Grandpa obviously doted on little uncle. The patriarch and the acting god emperor have always interacted like this." Granny Feng chuckled. "The acting divine emperor is a very serious person. After he took over the position of acting divine emperor, he has been working hard to support the entire divine realm. So, the acting divine emperor is often busy dealing with the affairs of the god realm and neglects the patriarch. The patriarch is angry and distressed. Every time he sends someone to invite the acting divine emperor back home, the acting divine emperor always has something to do. This is the first time the acting divine emperor has returned to the Feng family in hundreds of years." The correct chapter of Weish 7th Miss, Overlord, Be Gentle with Your Love, will continue to be updated in the Sea of Books Pavilion. There are no advertisements in the website, so please collect and recommend the Sea of Books Pavilion. Weish 7th Miss, Overlord, Be Gentle with Your Love, waste 7th miss, Overlord, be gentle with your love. The Sea of Books Pavilion is the fastest to update. Chapter 4805. Granny Feng looked at Yi-Ching Luo with gentle eyes. It's all thanks to little Mississippi. Yi-Ching Luo cupped her face with both hands. I'm not as good as Granny Feng said. It's all because little uncle wanted to confirm my identity, so he specially came back. That's also because of little miss, the acting god emperor came back. The more Granny Feng looked at this young lady who looked similar to the former god emperor, the more she liked her. No, they were not similar at all. The former god emperor had received the god emperor's inheritance since he was born, so he bore an extremely heavy burden. So there was always a hint of melancholy between the former god emperor's brows. Although the former god emperor would smile and be happy. But she was always so noble and elegant. She would never take off that mask of hers at any time. Anne. The little miss in front of her. Her brows were always filled with a smile that made people feel happy. That pair of long and narrow eyes. As if it was always lit with the light of hope. Her smile was always so bright. So that people could only see her. They couldn't help but smile along with her. This was the playfulness and liveliness that could never be seen on the former god emperor's face. Granny Feng's eyes were slightly red. Little miss, it's really great that you're back. It's a good thing that I'm back, don't cry. Yi-Ching Luo quickly stretched out her hand to wipe her tears. Just when she stretched out her hand, Yi-Ching Luo found that her palm was stained with black charcoal. Yi-Ching Luo, she immediately withdrew her hand. But, a light laugh came from the door. Feng family's patriarch had woken up and came over following the fragrance. I knew you must have been busy in the kitchen early in the morning and made yourself look like a little flower face. When Granny Feng saw the charcoal on Yi-Ching Luo's face, she couldn't help but laugh. Yi-Ching Luo used her sleeve to wipe her face. She had stained her face with her hands when she was pretending to be bashful just now. Sure enough, shyness didn't suit her. The young lady's smear. Not only did it not erase the charcoal traces on her face. Instead, it made her face even more blotchy. Feng family's patriarch and Granny Feng laughed even more happily. What's the matter? Bloodbone Barbaric King also came over. When he saw Yi-Ching Luo, even the barbaric Bloodbone King's cold and expressionless face showed signs of cracking. The corners of the barbaric Bloodbone King's mouth twitched unnaturally. Yi-Ching Luo, all right. It could make everyone happy. So be it if you're ugly. Anyway, she was good-looking. Even if it was painted. Even that couldn't conceal her beauty. For the next few days, Yi-Ching Luo had been accompanying her maternal grandfather in the Feng residence. On the third day after Feng Liqiong left the Feng family, Feng Liqiong had returned. He also brought a team of divine guards to guard the Feng family. He even arranged for 2 groups of divine guards to protect Yi-Ching Luo in the dark. This posture made Feng clan master a little worried. What's wrong? What happened? Someone wants to harm Xiao Luo. Feng family lord pulled Feng Liqiong back and asked with a serious expression. Feng Liqiong's face congealed. There's no way to settle the matter with the 5 great aristocrats. It seems that someone has gotten the news of a mysterious lady appearing in the Feng family. And there's evidence that the death of the 5 great aristocrats' important members is related to our Feng family's mysterious lady, Xiao Luo. He paused for a moment. With the Divine Guards and Divine Guards' Dark Team's protection, Father, you don't need to worry. Yi-Ching Luo didn't have much change in her emotions. After Feng Liqiong finished speaking, she curled her pink lips and said, Chapter 4806. Uncle, why not? I go back to the lower realm first. Feng Liqiong's eyes congealed slightly. Not waiting for him to speak, Feng family patriarch stopped her. No. If those people chase you to the lower realm, how can they protect you? They won't expect me to be in the lower realm. Yiqing Luo analyzed the pros and cons. They have their eyes on the Feng family. If I am in the lower realm, it will be safer, isn't it? What's more, I came to the God realm suddenly. My brothers and sisters in the lower realm will definitely be worried about me. Yiqing Luo sighed softly. I should take the opportunity to go to the lower realm to tell them that I am safe. Qing Luo. Feng Liqiong coughed lightly. I also don't recommend you to leave the Feng family. Yiqing Luo looked at him. Feng Liqiong sighed faintly. No one knows to what extent those people have their eyes on you. If you leave the God realm and they follow, I'm afraid, it won't just be you. You will meet with an accident. I'm afraid your brothers and sisters in the lower realm will also not be able to escape. His eyes were filled with concern as he patted Yiqing Luo's shoulder. The God's guards cannot stay in the lower realm for too long, otherwise it would destroy the balance in the lower realm. So uncle is unable to let the God's guards accompany you back to the lower realm. The light in Yiqing Luo's eyes dimmed slightly. Feng family patriarch comforted her with heartache. Little Luo, wait for your uncle to settle the matter, then find a chance to meet your friends. Yiqing Luo pursed her pink lips. I know. I don't want them to get hurt because of me. Feng Liqiong was also distressed. Don't worry, uncle will not let the 5 aristocrats ride on your head. Uncle must make them give an explanation for this matter. I believe you. Yiqing Luo's eyes were filled with trust. Her burning gaze looked at Feng Liqiong and Feng family patriarch, then nodded at them. I know. Grandfather and little uncle are doing this for my sake. Feng family patriarch was even more distressed. Yiqing Luo looked at Bloodbone Barbarian King, suddenly stretched out her hand and held his wrist. Uncle Bone, I have a request. The barbaric Bloodbone King stared at the fair and slender little hand on his wrist and was a little stunned. What? Uncle Bone, help me make a trip down to the lower realm and tell them about my news, so that they can be assured, all right? Yiqing Luo's charming eyes were filled with hope. The Bloodbone Barbaric King frowned. No. This god promised Feng Gu to protect you. Yiqing Luo's face collapsed as she spoke in a slightly coquettish tone as she hugged Bloodbone Barbaric King's arm and shook it. Uncle Bone, the only person I trust the most is you. Moreover, the World Group's brothers all know you. Go and tell them, the credibility will be higher. She raised her head and continued, I'm at the Feng Manor. Zomo reminds you, please add me to your collection after reading it. Read it again. It's easier to read it later. I'm not going anywhere. With Grandpa by my side and little uncle protecting me, what are you worried about? If worst comes to worst, you can just go and come back quickly. The barbaric Bloodbone King's attitude was very firm. But he couldn't resist the girl's coquettish offensive. In the end, he still agreed with a dark expression. Moreover, it was true. Leave quickly and return quickly. Therefore, after agreeing, he directly left the Feng Manor and headed down to the lower realm. He was simply the representative of action. But, no one discovered it. While the barbaric Bloodbone King was acting coquettishly towards Yiqing Luo, the two of them exchanged glances. His eyes were filled with deep scheming and deep meaning. Very shallow. Very quickly. There was no way to detect it. Yiqing Luo looked at the barbaric Bloodbone King's departing figure as she sat back next to Feng family patriarch. Uncle Bone, help me pass the message and I'll be assured. I'll stay in the Feng Manor to accompany Grandpa. Chapter 4807. Feng Liqiong also looked at Bloodbone Barbarian King's departing figure. After a long time, he retracted his gaze and looked at Yiqing Luo. Qing Luo, stay in the Feng Manor peacefully, with Uncle around. Uncle will not let anyone bully you. The young girl's charming eyes were curved. Her pupils, which were as clear as water, rippled with an unreal light. Blinking again, the young lady's eyes were filled with trust. I have always believed in Uncle. Feng Liqiong smiled. Then she hurriedly left. Feng family's patriarch saw Yiqing Luo staring at Feng Liqiong's back. He thought she was worried about the matter with the 5 aristocrats, so he comforted her. Don't think so much, leave everything to your uncle. Yiqing Luo turned back with a smile and held the old man's arm, leaning her head on his shoulder intimately. Grandfather and uncle's relationship is really good. He is grandfather's only son. The old man's eyes were kind as he smiled lightly. He has been by your mother's side since he was young. As for me, I have not fulfilled the responsibility of a father. I always thought that with your mother taking care of him, it was enough. His gaze gradually turned gentle. Later on, after Xiaogu passed away, I was sad, but he felt worse than me. He was depressed for a long time. He could tell. Grandfather really cared about Feng Liqiong. Very much. Family. Yiqing Luo rubbed her head on his shoulder. Grandfather still has me. I will take care of grandfather on behalf of my mother. Feng family's patriarch smiled and touched her head. My biggest wish is for you to live peacefully. Night. Yiqing Luo had just coaxed grandfather to sleep and returned to her own room. Her but hadn't even warmed up yet. Urgent footsteps were heard outside the door. Following that, Feng Liqiong rushed over with a serious face. Qing Luo. I've caught the black-clothed man who killed the important members of the 5 noble families. Yiqing Luo's gaze was fixed on him for a while. Under the moonlight, that pair of glass-like pupils seemed to be covered with a layer of thick black fog. Feng Liqiong inexplicably felt flustered. He frowned and tried to call out, Qing Luo. Uncle. The young lady's clear voice, with a unique coquettish tone. She stood up. The moonlight poured down. Her fiery red dress seemed to be plated with a layer of silver light. It made the young girl look like a moonlight goddess stepping on the moon. Holy and elegant, unattainable. Feng Liqiong didn't know if she was imagining things. Why do I feel like tonight's Yiqing Luo was a little strange? However, he couldn't tell what was strange about it. In the next moment, the young girl was already in front of him. Her beautiful face was reflected in his eyes at close range. Then, little uncle, is my suspicion cleared? Feng Liqiong calmed herself down. Didn't you say that you saw that man in black? Uncle wants to invite you to take a look to see if it's that black-robed man, in case there's an imposter in the dark. He paused for a moment before explaining. According to what you said, that black-clothed man is strong enough to kill 5 important members of the 5 great aristocratic families. He shouldn't be easily captured by us, so, Yiqing Luo nodded, sure. The girl's reply was rather decisive. Her belly full of persuasion was swallowed back. Feng Liqiong was slightly stunned and immediately gave a smile. Qing Luo, don't worry, uncle will definitely protect you. Chapter 4808. Feng Liqiong hurriedly said, then let's go. Yiqing Luo walked out of the room and closed the door. Suddenly, as if she had thought of something, she smiled at Feng Liqiong. It's already so late, I should greet grandfather. Father should be asleep already. Don't wake him up. Feng Liqiong smiled. Go and identify it. Uncle will send you back immediately. It won't take long. Yiqing Luo's exquisite brows didn't reveal much emotion. She didn't resist at all, and obediently followed behind Feng Liqiong. Once they left the Phoenix mansion, a horse carriage was waiting outside. Yiqing Luo boarded the carriage. The curtains of the carriage fell. It was pitch black in front of him. The carriage sped forward at a high speed, but there was no wind. Yiqing Luo straightened up slightly and stretched out her fingers to lift the curtains of the carriage. However, the two curtains of the car window were tightly sealed. Yiqing Luo nodded her head in interest. In the darkness, that pair of shimmering eyes was even more resplendent than before. She leaned back. Her expression was calm and indifferent. However, her pink and tender lips parted slightly as she spoke in a gentle voice. "Little uncle, why does it seem like the curtain of my carriage is sealed shut?" Feng Liqiong's voice could be heard from outside the carriage. "It's very windy outside, be careful not to catch a cold." "Don't worry, uncle will always be by your side." Yiqing Luo responded and didn't say another word. About half an hour passed. The carriage gradually came to a halt. The curtains of the carriage were lifted. Feng Liqiong came over to support Yiqing Luo. After jumping off the carriage, Yiqing Luo discovered that this was an extremely desolate cage land. From the looks of it, it should be a place specially used to imprison the sinners of the God world. The air was filled with a thick, bloody and cold aura. "Don't be afraid. Uncle is here." Feng Liqiong saw Yiqing Luo sizing up the surroundings and gave her an amiable smile. "Uncle is in charge of this place, no one can hurt you." Yiqing Luo's eyes were filled with trust as she nodded her head vigorously. "I know, uncle will protect me." Feng Liqiong led her into the cell. Along the way, they could hear countless heart-wrenching screams. Some were insulting, some were fearful, some were begging for mercy, and so on. All kinds of voices were mixed together. Especially when Feng Liqiong walked in. The people who were locked up in cages made of special materials almost madly rushed to the cages, shouting at them. It was incomparably crazy. Yiqing Luo lowered her head slightly, as though she was afraid of such an environment. However, he kept glancing left and right from the corner of his eye. He memorized the faces of the people who were screaming crazily in the cage. Not long after, Feng Liqiong brought her to a spacious, dark room. The stone door closed. Almost all the sounds outside had been isolated. A luminous pearl was placed on a stone table not far away, illuminating the entire dark room. In the dark room, there was a man in a black robe hanging on a wooden stake in front of him. His body was bound by countless iron chains. At this moment, it was hanging there lifelessly. Apart from that, there was nothing else on the stone table where the luminous pearl was placed. Feng Liqiong stretched out her hand and made a "please" gesture towards Yiqing Luo. "Qing Luo, take a look, is this the black-robed man you saw?" Yiqing Luo stood on the same spot, not moving at all. "Qing Luo." Feng Liqiong felt a little strange as he pulled Yiqing Luo's arm. "Come over and take a look, don't be afraid, uncle is here." Yiqing Luo slowly struggled free from Feng Liqiong's hand. Her brows rose slightly as her gaze fell onto that black-robed man as she slowly shook her head. "No need to go over and take a look, it's not him." Chapter 4809. It's not him. Feng Liqiong's expression congealed as his brows creased tightly. When his gaze fell onto the young lady's face, his pupils constricted abruptly. The expression on his face was no longer as kind and amiable as before. Slowly, it turned cold. He looked at the young lady. Under the luminous pearl's light, the young lady's porcelain-white face was indifferent and calm. Her long and narrow eyes rose slightly as it curled into a mocking cold arc. The brilliance in her eyes was like a sea of stars, even more resplendent than the luminous pearl. Where was there any? The innocent look of a delicate little girl who trusted her uncle wholeheartedly. And at this moment, the young lady met Feng Liqiong's gradually cold eyes. Her pink lips curled slightly as she casually said word by word, "Isn't it you?" What are you talking about?" Feng Liqiong's eyes changed slightly as her heart inexplicably jumped. Yiqing Luo cooperated as her pink lips curled into a faint cold arc as she repeated, "The black-robed man that I saw that day, isn't it you?" Feng Liqiong went silent. She didn't speak for a long time. No denial. At this juncture, it was considered as a tacit agreement. Yiqing Luo didn't speak either. She just stood calmly at the entrance of the dark room. Dressed in a fiery red dress, in this dark room, she was like an extremely dazzling rose in full bloom. Bright and eye-catching. There wasn't much emotion on her face. Not like she was afraid. And not flustered. As though she already had a foolproof plan in her heart. Or as though she had the confidence to not fear anyone. Such a Yiqing Luo. It was the Feng Liqiong who had never seen her in the Feng family, or rather, in the God realm. After a long time. A light sneer came out from Feng Liqiong's thin lips. He laughed lightly. That handsome face revealed a cold murderous intent. You, how did you know? Face, it was still that face. But the entire temperament had undergone an earth-shattering change. Feng Liqiong had shed his benevolence, his amiability. From head to toe, he revealed an evil cold temperament. As though he was immersed in the darkness, filled with malevolent malevolence. Such a change did not cause the expression on the girl's face to change in the slightest. She still had a faint smile on her face, and her eyes were slightly raised. He really couldn't tell what exactly she was feeling at this moment. He seemed to be expressionless. It also seemed to be a taunt. Yiqing Luo replied nonchalantly, "Why doesn't little uncle continue to pretend?" "That's right. Our Qing Luo is so smart, even if uncle continues to pretend." In Qing Luo's eyes, "I'm afraid it's just a joke." Feng Liqiong leaned forward, an oppressive aura came crashing down. Yiqing Luo took 2 steps back. She slowly raised her eyes, her gaze as calm as water. "Little uncle, you don't want to talk anymore." Feng Liqiong's eyes were like torches, like a venomous snake, tightly wrapped around the young girl. It was as if he wanted to see through the girl's soul. He wanted to know what his opponent's trump card was. However, no matter how he looked at it, the girl was always so indifferent. Feng Liqiong's eyes sunk slightly, and then moved away, withdrawing the aura that was released from her body. Qing Luo really has the demeanor of sister in the past, looking at you. Really makes me think of sister. Yiqing Luo's slender white fingers slowly touched her own face, smiling sweetly. "It's all thanks to this face which is similar to mother's, that I can live till now. Little uncle's feelings for mother is really enviable." Chapter 48:10. Yiqing Luo's lower lip curled up, her eyes were half squinted without much emotion. Feng Liqiong only felt that the young lady's tone was full of sarcasm. He frowned, restrained his smile and asked sternly, "When did you find out?" Yiqing Luo's fingertips slid to her chin and gently knocked on it, with a calm look. "It seems I knew it from the beginning." "How is that possible?" Feng Liqiong's brows knitted even tighter. "Where did I go wrong? Made you suspect me?" Yiqing Luo chuckled. "Uncle's most fatal mistake is that you are too confident." She raised her chin and explained word by word. "Actually, since I came to the God realm and was sent to the 100-flower garden, I have been suspicious of the so-called acting God Emperor. Of course, at first I didn't know that the acting God Emperor was my uncle. You knew my identity long ago, and had already determined that I was from your Feng family, so you have been scheming against me from the beginning." Yiqing Luo paused for a moment, her eyes faintly and silently looked at Feng Liqiong. "I know, now you want to ask me, how did I know you were scheming against me?" Yiqing Luo moved her fingertips and took out a piece of jade pendant. That was used to stabilize her movement in the God realm, so that she could get used to the heaven and earth qi. How could an acting God Emperor not know that I, a person from the lower realm, will fall into a coma when I reach the God realm? Then he handed me over to a God realm playboy, Ji Wuhua. Because the acting God Emperor was very clear that Ji Wuhua would definitely stand on the acting God Emperor's point of view and send me to the safest 100-flower garden. And because the young lady's pink lips smiled with a bit of ridicule, her narrow eyes revealed a bit of sharp cold light, because Ji Wuhua's room is connected to the back garden of the Feng residence. And coincidentally, the acting God Emperor had something to deal with and asked me to stay in the God realm for a night. It was such a coincidence that I ended up staying in that room. And coincidentally, that night, that room overflowed with heaven and earth chi, causing me to open the door of the dark room and come to the Feng residence. The girl's every word. The expression on Feng Liqiong's face gradually became more and more interesting. After a while, he burst into laughter. How do you know that this isn't a coincidence? Although everyone in the 100 Garden is Ji Wuhua's harem, it's impossible for no one to cultivate the profound rank, so, this room is so rich in heaven and earth spirit chi, how could a profound practitioner not discover this place? Yi Qing Luo indifferently tilted her head, so, I can only say that all these designs and plans, the purpose is to let me return to the Feng family. After that, when I was kidnapped by the 5 aristocratic families, I could roughly guess that the person behind the scenes was the acting Divine Emperor. I didn't expose him because I wanted to figure out the purpose of the acting Divine Emperor. Therefore, when you appeared at the exit in a black robe, I already knew that you were the acting Divine Emperor. When Yi Qing Luo said this, she paused slightly. She chuckled softly, then, in the Feng manner, you appeared. Yi Qing Luo's pink lips lightly spat out a few words. The acting Divine Emperor, my uncle, wanted to get my trust, to let me believe you unconditionally. When I found out that my uncle was the acting Divine Emperor, my heart was really very sad. Chapter 48:11. The expression on Feng Liqiong's face was very strange. The way she looked at Yi Qing Luo was also very strange. Why did this young lady look so calm? She had already guessed everything. But she was able to put up a show with him calmly. What kind of psychological quality did she have to be able to do this? Obviously, she was just a 15-year-old young lady. Feng Liqiong gazed deeply at the young lady. There was a cold glint in her eyes. She seemed to be pondering. What kind of environment did Yi Qing Luo grow up in till now? To have such a strong psychological quality. Feng Liqiong had to admit. This young lady was indeed Feng Jiyi's daughter. Such a stubborn temper. Exactly the same. Or perhaps, compared to Feng Gu, this young lady was even more outstanding. Feng Liqiong's throat moved. After a long while, a hoarse voice spat out a sentence. You deliberately disguise yourself, to beat me at my own game, to make me self-explode, right? That's not it. The young lady's voice still had her unique sweetness, the same tone as usual. When she acted coquettishly, Uncle wants to put up a show, so I cooperated with him. Such a tone. And the young lady's brilliant smile. Lin Fan's pupils constricted slightly. He stared at her, his voice deep. You're not afraid? Of course not. Yi Qing Luo shook her head smilingly. You are my uncle, and you will not really hurt me. Why should I be afraid? Feng Liqiong laughed. How can you be sure that I will not hurt you? Yi Qing Luo's slender fingers touched her chin, replying seriously, because uncle cares about grandfather. It wasn't easy for grandfather to find me. If I'm injured or something happens to me, it will definitely be a huge blow to grandfather. She smiled, her eyes curved, so uncle can't bear to see grandfather sad. Ha! The young lady's analysis made Feng Liqiong couldn't help but snort lightly. You're quite sure? Of course. I have my own trump card. Yi Qing Luo was still smiling. Feng Liqiong raised her brows. Trump card. Naturally, I can't bet everything on little uncle's feelings for grandfather. I can't bet on little uncle's humanity. Yiqing Luo's words were very direct. Of course I have my own trump card. If little uncle loses his humanity, wouldn't I be in danger? Feng Liqiang laughed again, as she stared at Yiqing Luo's gaze, filled with a probing and sizing expression. What's your trump card? If I tell you now, it won't be called a trump card anymore. Yiqing Luo casually waved her hand. Under the bright light of the luminous pearl, the young lady's beauty had a hazy charm. Feng Liqiang's eyes were deep and unblinking as she stared at her. He seemed to be thinking about something. Yiqing Luo crossed her arms in front of her chest again. Now, little uncle can tell me your motive. Feng Liqiang stared at her without blinking and did not answer her. There was silence for several breaths. Yiqing Luo turned around and headed towards the entrance of the dark room. The moment she moved. Swoosh! That black-robed man who was originally hanging on the wooden pole dragged the thick and solid iron chain as he speedily rushed towards Yiqing Luo. The black-robed man swiftly closed in, bringing along a piercing cold wind. In an instant, he blocked in front of Yiqing Luo, blocking Yiqing Luo's path. Yiqing Luo glanced at that man, paused her footsteps and turned to look at Feng Liqiang. Is little uncle going to use force on me? Chapter 48:12. Feng Liqiang glanced at the man. The black-robed man was silent for a moment. He slowly moved his body away. The iron chains that were dragged on the ground made crackling sounds in the quiet dark room. It was extremely ear-piercing. Yiqing Luo turned around once again as she pushed the dark room's door. This time, no one stopped him. But Yiqing Luo wasn't able to push that stone door open. She pushed twice. Seeing that the stone door wouldn't budge at all, he decided not to push it anymore. He turned to Feng Liqiang and said, "Little uncle isn't willing to tell us what he's here for, nor is he willing to let me leave. Let's just stand here and waste time." Her pink lips curled into a sweet smile. In any case, when grandfather wakes up and realizes that I'm not in the room, he'll definitely remember that I was kidnapped by the 5 aristocratic families a few days ago. At that time, if he's provoked, you'll have to take full responsibility. Feng Liqiang's eyes darkened. Flicking her sleeve, she turned and walked back to the only stone table in the room. He shot a glance at Yiqing Luo. Yiqing Luo didn't hesitate as she walked over directly and sat opposite Feng Liqiang. On the table, there was a jar of wine and several upside-down wine bowls. After Yiqing Luo sat down, she directly picked up the wine bowls and poured 2 bowls of wine, placing 1 bowl in front of each of them. "Come, let's chat while we drink. I'm also rather curious, to make the acting god emperor personally go down to the sea, what is it exactly?" The girl finished the bowl of wine in one breath. She was so forthright that she didn't seem like a woman at all. Feng Liqiang held the bowl of wine in her hand and remained motionless. "Aren't you afraid that the wine is poisoned? If it was poisonous, you would have stopped me long ago." Yiqing Luo poured another bowl of wine. "If little uncle wants to kill me, there are plenty of opportunities, there's no need to go through so much trouble." Feng Liqiang chuckled again. He picked up the bowl of wine and drained it in one gulp. His gaze was fixated on the young girl without blinking. There was a momentary daze in his eyes. It seemed to be through the girl. She thought of her mother, Feng Gu. Yiqing Luo didn't open her mouth to interrupt his recollection. At this moment, Feng Liqiang thought more about her mother. Perhaps it would allow him to retain some of his humanity. If Feng Liqiang's bestial nature were to explode, she would be in danger. Even if he had a trump card, he still had to be careful. Yiqing Luo continued pouring wine and drinking. He even refilled Feng Liqiang's cup. The two of them were silent. One bowl after another, they drank 3 bowls. Feng Liqiong then put down the wine bowl. Qing Luo is so smart, you should have guessed my motive, isn't that so? This. I really can't guess. The young girl shook her head and propped up her chin with one hand. Little uncle thinks too highly of me. There are things that I can't guess. Feng Liqiong's gaze was fixed on the young girl's. He did not beat around the bush and stated his purpose word by word. Feng. Jia. Shen. Bao. This answer. It was unexpected, but it was also expected. After all, the reason why the 5 great nobles and the black-robed man, Feng Liqiong, had gone through so much trouble was for the so-called treasure of the Feng family. But, it was unexpected because Feng Liqiong was a member of the Feng family. She should also know that the so-called Feng family's treasure was just a rumor. However, Feng Liqiong truly believed in the existence of the Feng family's treasure. Then, there was only one reason. Grandfather also lied to her. Or perhaps, the Feng family's treasure really existed. But even grandfather himself didn't know about it. Otherwise Feng Liqiong wouldn't have schemed in such a way just for a so-called treasure. Chapter 48:13. Yi Qing Luo's thoughts whirled around. But he said, didn't grandfather say that this is just a rumor of the Feng family? As a Feng family member, you actually believe in such a rumor? Feng Liqiong's gaze sunk. Do you really think that's just a rumor? He scoffed lightly. The fingers holding the wine cup tightened slightly. There's no smoke without fire. If the Feng family is really clean, then there wouldn't be such a rumor. He picked up the wine jar and filled the bowl to the brim. But, he wasn't in a hurry to drink, but stared at Yi Qing Luo faintly. The Feng family has a treasure, and that treasure, only you can find it. Yi Qing Luo raised her brows, as she carefully thought over every word that Feng Liqiong said. She squinted her eyes slightly. An undetectable glint flashed past her eyes. Uncle, why do you say so? She asked. Feng Liqiong lifted the wine cup, placed it to his lips, and said word by word, because you are my sister's daughter. When her words fell, he drank the wine, in one gulp. Immediately, it fell heavily onto the stone table. The wine cup and the stone table made a loud collision sound. The expression on his face gradually became a little twisted and strange. Even if my Feng family's second young master is my sister's biological brother, I still can't get everything from the Feng family. She thinks of you in everything about you. Feng Liqiong suddenly hammered the stone table heavily. The expression on his face became violent. Obviously, you are just a bastard. A bastard whose father doesn't even know who he is. What right do you have to get her approval? That treasure, only you know. Sister must have told you the whereabouts of the treasure. Qing Luo, this is what you owe uncle. Quick, tell uncle the whereabouts of the treasure, and compensate uncle. He muttered softly, as if he was possessed by a demon. Such a crazy side. She had completely lost her usual kind and elegant demeanor. Yi Qing Luo didn't move, nor did she have any intention to be afraid. She just sat there quietly, allowing Feng Liqiong to vent his anger. But, on the surface, she looked so calm and indifferent. But in her heart, it was already a storm. Bastard, these 2 words, pierced deeply into Yi Qing Luo's heart. From the memories of the blood-bone barbarian king, Yi Qing Luo could probably imagine her mother's melodramatic love story. His mother got pregnant before marriage. Not long after she was born, she encountered a dangerous situation. He had no choice but to hand her over to the care of the blood-bone barbarian king. From the start to the end, Yi Qing Luo had not seen where her so-called father was. Why, Feng Liqiong was certain that the Feng family had that treasure. And the whereabouts of the treasure must be with her. Also, what do you mean by compensation? What did she owe him? Qing Luo. Suddenly, Feng Li Qiong grabbed Yi Qing Luo's arm with both her hands, as she stared at her with a crazed gaze. Uncle doesn't have any other requests, as long as you tell Uncle the whereabouts of the Feng family's treasures. Everything that we have can return to how it was originally. We can pretend that nothing has happened. You are still my adorable and ignorant Qing Luo, and I will still be your little uncle. The grip on his shoulder was a little heavy. Yi Qing Luo frowned slightly, but didn't struggle free, only replying in a serious tone, I don't know what you're talking about. Perhaps it was the words, don't know, that agitated him. Feng Li Qiong suddenly stood up. The expression on his face revealed a sinister viciousness. Qing Luo, Uncle doesn't want to use brute force on you. Chapter 48:14. Yi Qing Luo pursed her lips as her eyes met Feng Li Qiong's crazed gaze without blinking. On the phone, she could smell the strong smell of alcohol on Feng Li Qiong. But she wasn't afraid of Feng Li Qiong's vicious aura, or showing a timid expression towards Feng Li Qiong. She was still as calm as usual. Her expression was calm and indifferent. She allowed Feng Li Qiong to tighten her grip on her shoulders, her strength increasing. The two of them just like that. There was silence for a long while. Feng Li Qiong released Ji Yunchu's arms and sat down on the stone bench. His breathing was rapid. The haze on his face had not dispersed. His eyes were overflowing with vicious aura, as though he was suppressing his own emotions. Uncle, if I knew what you were talking about, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you now. Yi Qing Luo saw him calm down and spoke calmly, I knew you had a problem. If I knew about the so-called Feng family's treasure, it wouldn't be yours. Feng Li Qiong pressed both hands on the stone table. Think carefully, do you have anything special on you, or that bone lord, is there any clue on him? Or rather, is there anything particularly deep in your memory? Feng Li Qiong asked several questions consecutively. It was as if he had been possessed. Yi Qing Luo stared deeply at the crazy man in front of her, unable to describe the feeling in her heart. This man was her uncle. In fact, she did not feel much malice from her youngest uncle. Her uncle's feelings towards her grandfather was definitely not fake. He was actually a sentimental person. But his obsession had already made him unable to walk out of it. That Feng family's treasure, what on earth was it? Until Feng Li Qiong stopped the barrage of questions. Yi Qing Luo then took a deep breath, I really can't recall. Perhaps the last hope had been shattered. Feng Li Qiong let out a sudden roar. His hands suddenly scattered the wine jars and bowls on the table onto the ground. He was like a raging beast, roaring with the anger in his heart. You don't know, how could you not know that woman, the person she cares about the most is that beast in human form, even if you are that beast's child, she would still care about you. When that woman died, all she thought about was that you had arranged everything for you, but she never thought about me, never. Feng Li Qiong's voice was hoarse as she howled in anger. His eyes were scarlet red as he stared fiercely at Yi Qing Luo. It was as if he was going to destroy the world. A sinister murderous aura burst forth. Obviously. I am the person closest to her. I am the person with the highest talent. Why can't everything be mine? Why should I take care of you for her? That beast with a human face, the daughter of the enemy who killed my Feng family. She treasured you so much. She left everything to you. How could she not leave the opportunity of the divine emperor's inheritance to you? You must know where the Feng family's treasure is. You must know the divine emperor's inheritance. Feng Li Qiong suddenly dashed towards Yi Qing Luo. One hand clasped onto Yi Qing Luo's neck. His tone was sinister and cold, Qing Luo, quickly tell your uncle where that woman hid the Feng family's treasure. As long as you get the Divine Emperor's inheritance and become the real Emperor of the Divine Emperors, you will definitely bring that woman to treat you as your own biological daughter and treat you well. Tipping Chi 100000 book coins for the 10th wave. Now she was still short of the chief of the alliance. End of this chapter. Trash 7th Young Miss, Overlord, please be gentler. Chapter 48:15. Feng Liqiang had used quite a bit of strength. Yiqing Luo's neck felt a little painful. The two of them were very close. Yiqing Luo could clearly see the frenzied whirlpool in Feng Liqiang's eyes, as though it was going to swallow up all his rationality. Yiqing Luo frowned slightly. She slowly lifted her fair hand and placed it on the back of the hand on her neck. These hands. Before today, it was full of tolerance and warmth. But at this moment, there was a thin layer of sweat on it. You must know, the Feng family's treasure. You must know. That woman loved that beast so much. You're that person's daughter, there's no way she wouldn't tell you. The more Feng Liqiang spoke, the more deranged she became. He tightened his grip on the young girl's neck. I know. Could it be that that beast also looked for you? That beast, he didn't want you to tell me, right? Yiqing Luo's face turned slightly red. She tugged at Feng Liqiang's hand and frowned. Little uncle. Calm down. The words squeezed out from between his teeth with great difficulty. But Feng Liqiang couldn't hear it. Feng Liqiang seemed to have fallen into a trance. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. As though he had seen someone through Yiqing Luo. A certain person whom he hated the most. Yiqing Luo's pink lips pursed tightly. Just as Feng Liqiang was about to go crazy and try to strangle her to death. She raised her slender, white fingers. A flaming red fan spun from the girl's fingertips. The feather fan pressed against Feng Liqiang's chest. In the meantime, bang. There was a deafening noise. The stone door of the secret room was blasted open. A group of more than 30 people rushed in. The person who was supposed to head to the lower realm to pass on Yiqing Luo's message, blood, bone, barbarian, king. Then, it was a team of Feng family's secret guards. Then, the elderly master of the Feng family walked in step by step with the help of Granny Feng. After seeing the situation in the dark room, Patriarch Feng's face suddenly turned pale. At this moment, Feng Liqiang was still clutching Yiqing Luo's neck. The ferocious expression on his face had yet to fade. That look seemed as though he wanted to kill Yiqing Luo. Patriarch Feng shouted angrily, Feng Liqiang. What are you doing? This angry roar. Feng Liqiang shuddered and came back to her senses. Something pressed against his chest, and he felt a cold sensation. He lowered his eyes. He saw the girl's feather fan. Before he could say anything. Feng Liqiang felt her body go limp. His hand slipped away from the young girl's neck and softly fell to the ground. His face was aghast as he struggled to raise his hands and prop himself up. But the feeling of powerlessness in his body made him unable to even move his body. Feng Liqiang's heart skipped a beat. What did you do to me? He will become like this. It must have something to do with the young girl's knock on his chest just now. Yiqing Luo retreated backwards as she raised her hand to support her neck. Girl Luo. The bloodbone barbarian king rushed forward and supported the girl. His vision caught a glimpse of an obvious finger mark on the fair skin of her neck. His cold, malicious eyes suddenly darkened. Yiqing Luo rubbed her neck and smiled at the bloodbone barbarian king. Uncle Bone, I'm fine. Vile spawn. Vile spawn. Patriarch Feng trembled as he walked in front of Feng Liqiang. He stared at Feng Liqiong with a face full of disappointment. 6. Friends who read books, you can search Blue Chinese language website, and you will find this site in the first instance. Chapter 48:16. Feng Liqiong fell limply onto the ground. Her eyes went past Patriarch Feng and stared at Yiqing Luo, seemingly unable to understand. Why did she fall into Yiqing Luo's trap? You vile creature! Why are you still staring at little Luo? Patriarch Feng was infuriated as he lifted his leg to kick Feng Liqiong. How can you be an uncle? Feng Liqiong's eyes gradually returned to normal. That kick from Patriarch Feng wasn't light at all. But Feng Liqiong didn't even reveal a hint of pain. Why? He asked in a hoarse voice. It went without saying who this question was directed at. Patriarch Feng saw that he didn't know how to repent and completely ignored himself. He was so angry that his face turned red as he lifted his leg to kick again. Yiqing Luo hurriedly went forward and held the old man's body. Grandfather, don't be angry, I will be sad if you hurt your health. Her sweet voice soothed the anger in the old man's heart. Little Luo, it's grandfather's fault, grandfather failed to protect you. Patriarch Feng held the young lady's arm as his voice trembled. If it wasn't for Bone Lord's appearance in his room, telling him that little Luo might be in danger, perhaps until now, he still wouldn't know Feng Liqiong's true colors. The person who kidnapped little Luo was actually Feng Liqiong. The more Patriarch Feng thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. Yiqing Luo comforted him in a gentle voice. I'm really fine, grandfather. Actually, I knew that uncle was the mastermind behind my kidnapping. I followed him here because I believe in him. She held the old man's hand and placed it beside her face. See, I'm really fine, uncle didn't hurt me at all. You're still speaking for that bastard. The more obedient the young lady was, the more guilty Patriarch Feng felt. Earlier scene, I saw it clearly. Once they barged into the dark room, what she saw was Feng Liqiong madly strangling the young lady's neck. That crazy and malevolent face. As though she wanted to strangle Yiqing Luo to death. Yiqing Luo shook her head, her eyes were gentle. Uncle can't hurt me. She let go of the old man and slowly walked towards Feng Liqiong, squatting down to support him. He had yet to meet Feng Liqiong. The old man frantically pulled her back. Little Luo, don't go over there. Little uncle can't hurt me in the slightest now. Yiqing Luo gave the elderly a comforting smile. I naturally can't bear to let grandfather be sad for me, so even if I believe in youngest uncle, before I came, I had already made full preparations. She patted the back of Feng Clan Master's hand. He stepped forward and helped Feng Liqiong up. Feng Liqiong's body was limp and boneless. The minute Yiqing Luo moved, her entire body's weight pressed onto her. He was her son after all. No matter how angry Feng Clan Master was, he was also distressed. His heart ached for Yiqing Luo, worried that she would be suppressed by Feng Liqiong. He immediately ordered his men to help him up. Yiqing Luo had just loosened her grip when Feng Liqiong suddenly grabbed onto the young lady's arm. What did you do to me? Feng Liqiong asked with great difficulty. Even now, he still could not understand. When on earth did he fall into Yiqing Luo's trap? Most importantly, how could Yiqing Luo possibly hurt him? You vile spawn, what else do you want to do? Feng Clan Master saw that Feng Liqiong still wanted to make a move on Yiqing Luo and immediately pulled the young lady behind him to protect her. Feng Liqiong stood in front of the young lady. Feng Liqiong's vision followed closely. Baidu read the latest chapter of Waste 7th Young Miss, Overlord, lightly tap Love Claw Machine Bookstore for free. Chapter 48:17. Nothing. Yiqing Luo supported him with one hand and comforted him. I told you, I have a trump card. She smiled and explained in a gentle voice, since I already knew your identity, how could I not guard against you? I asked Uncle Bone to help me pass the message, it was just a show for you. Uncle Bone had never left my side since the beginning, he was just hiding in the dark. Because I know, once Uncle Bone is not around, you will definitely take the opportunity to set up a trap. As it turned out, her guess was right. After the barbaric Blood Bone King left, Feng Liqiong took action. The barbaric Blood Bone King had been following them secretly. He immediately informed the Feng family's patriarch and sought help from the Feng family's secret guards to break into Feng Liqiong's territory. Apart from these trump cards. Yiqing Luo's words paused for a moment before she continued, when little uncle was investigating me, didn't he know that? I am a medicine master. Especially an expert in poison. In addition, she had been in contact with the Miao Gu family and the Wu Gu family for a long time. She had some understanding of Gu-related things. Combining these two things to refine a poison. Even if it was someone from the god realm, it was enough to give him a hard time. When did you? After being poisoned, he actually didn't feel it at all. Yiqing Luo's long and narrow eyes curved slightly, just when I suggested to return to the lower realm. She tilted her head, because there were so many people and you weren't on guard against me, it was actually very easy to poison you. That poison didn't take effect immediately. It needed to be stimulated through a certain acupuncture point. Just now, when Feng Liqiong was strangling his neck, she took the glower flame fan and knocked on Feng Liqiong's chest. It stimulated Feng Liqiong's poison. Fortunately you knew. Feng Liqiong didn't blame Yiqing Luo at all. Instead, he heaved a sigh of relief. If it wasn't for his granddaughter who already knew Feng Liqiong's motive. If he hadn't arrived in time. This granddaughter he had finally found, wouldn't it be? Feng Liqiong didn't even dare to think about it. Yiqing Luo's eyes curved as she smiled lightly. I'm mother's daughter, grandfather must believe in me. Looking at the girl in front of him, who had clearly experienced such a dangerous and heart-wrenching thing, at this moment, was smiling sweetly and softly comforting his emotions. She looked so obedient. Feng clan mistress couldn't help but soften her heart a little. He heaved a long sigh as he gently held Yiqing Luo's hand. His emotions had also calmed down as he looked at Feng Liqiong. You on earth, why did you do this? Feng Liqiong was helped to sit on a stone bench at the side. His body was still weak and powerless. His face was pale. However, that pair of slightly crazed and ruthless eyes did not lose the slightest bit of dignity. The power of the acting divine emperor caused the surrounding air to freeze. He chuckled softly. He looked at Feng clan master amusedly, but his eyes were full of anger and unwillingness. Why, you ask me why, he snorted softly. I really want to ask you, do you ever treat me as your son? The man's handsome face revealed a bit of craziness and a bit of ridicule. He leaned on the stone table as he laughed loudly. Since young, the only person you could see was sister. No matter where you go, only sister is worthy of your pride. Obviously. I'm the eldest son of the Feng family. I'm the one who should inherit the Feng family. Baidu read the latest chapter of Trash 7th Young Miss, Overlord, lightly tap on my beloved claw machine bookstore for free. Chapter 48:18. Chapter name, Feng Liqiong's Inner Pain, listening to Feng Liqiong's words. Feng family's patriarch's expression changed slightly. You have been coveting Xiao Ji's position. The old man's voice was trembling, as if he couldn't believe it. Feng Liqiong sneered, what do you mean coveting? That should be my position. My talent is not worse than my sister, why can she get the God Emperor's inheritance, while I am isolated? Feng Liqiong smiled, both hands on the stone table and raised his head. The position of the God Emperor should belong to me. Feng Liqiong was shocked. He couldn't imagine that his own son had been coveting the position of the God Emperor. Feng family patriarch, your sister. She is so good to you, everything you have is taught by her, how can you think of her like this? Ha! Feng Liqiong couldn't help but sneer at this point. He stared at Feng family patriarch, laughing coldly and sarcastically. She taught me. She is obviously afraid of my talent, afraid that I will take away the position that belongs to her. So she deliberately suppressed all my talent. We are both children of the Feng family, my talent. My strength is obviously more suitable than her to become the God Emperor. But in the end, the person who was chosen by the God Emperor is her. It's her, she used some insidious and cunning method to make me lose the chance to become the God Emperor. You. Feng family patriarch clutched his chest, breathing rapidly. Feng Liqiong looked crazy. The most hateful thing is, since she has taken away the position that belongs to me. But she doesn't pay for her position. She's selfish and only thinks of herself. Knowing that she will inherit the position of the God Emperor in the future. Knowing that she shouldn't be moved. But because of that bastard, that beast. She threw away her identity. That bastard, that beast. How many wrong things did she do? If she is not the God Emperor, what she did is enough for the people of the God realm to tear her into pieces. Feng Liqiong stared at the cold-looking blood-bone barbaric king standing next to Yi Qing Luo. And you, sinner. He had once used that kind of evil forbidden technique to kill so many people from the divine world. You should have been executed and your soul scattered, never to be reincarnated. She, on the other hand, used her position as the divine emperor to fake your death and deceive the world. She doesn't deserve to be a God Emperor. She doesn't deserve to be the God Emperor. Feng Liqiong shouted hoarsely, venting all the resentment she had buried in her heart for a long time. He complained again and again about how Feng Gu had degraded herself for a man. Even giving birth to Yi Qing Luo. In the end, he was abandoned. In the end, she died because of that man. Do you see how peaceful the God realm is after I took over the position of God Emperor? There's no war, no forbidden technique, and no fighting. I am the most suitable person to be the Emperor of the Divine Emperors. As long as I can find what Big Sister left behind, the God Emperor's inheritance will surely acknowledge me. After Feng Liqiong's hysteria. His eyes looked crazily at Yi Qing Luo. She definitely will. That thing is with you, hand it over and let me become the real God Emperor. He pounced towards Yi Qing Luo as though he had gone mad. Vile spawn. Are you crazy? Feng family's patriarch immediately protected Yi Qing Luo behind him. Baidu read the latest chapter of Waste 7th Young Miss, Overlord, lightly tap Love Claw Machine Bookstore for free. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.